I woke up to a reality so surreal it felt like a fever dream. What in the hell did I do last night? This wasn't some boutique hotel I'd crashed in after a bender. This was my own apartment. I'd been so wasted that I didn't even recognize my own bedroom, assuming I was somewhere downtown. Then it hit me. There was a man fast asleep in my bed, a man who was annoyingly gorgeous. I squinted, my brain sluggish. Oh, sweet mercy. It was my newly adopted godson. I stared at his face for a long time, then rubbed my temples in a fit of pure, unadulterated frustration. Everything from last night was a complete blackout. What a waste. Godmother. The voice cut through my misery like a knife. I turned my head, my neck feeling stiff as I met Marcellus's gaze. He was watching me intently, his eyes tracing every inch of my face with a faint, knowing smirk playing on his lips. It's true what they say when faced with something beautiful, a person really has zero willpower. I stared at him, my mind a blank screen. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. Godmother, has that chest pain of yours gone away? I didn't know why he was asking that, so I just frowned and answered honestly, It's gone. Marcellus nodded, the corner of his mouth curling upward. Well, mine hasn't. With that, he pulled the duvet down. A deep, jagged bite mark stood out on his shoulder, clear as day. I went numb. Did I do that? What do you think? He looked down at his own shoulder, arching a brow. Last night, I tried to help you take your shoes off, and you started yelling that I was that scumbag Amiri. You accused me of trying to bite you, so you decided to strike first. I gave a dry, awkward laugh. I was blackout drunk. Yeah. He leaned against the headboard and lit a cigarette, his tone flat. Drunk enough to confuse me with someone else. I narrowed my eyes. What's that supposed to mean? Marcellus took a drag, turned toward me, and then, with a wicked glint in his eye, puffed a cloud of smoke right into my face. The haze blurred his features. Godmother, he murmured, last night you treated me like a cheating ex-boyfriend. First, you cursed me out, and then, he paused, a look on his face that suggested he was savouring the memory. My face went up in flames. What kind of unhinged nonsense was this? Who exactly did I mistake you for? I asked, though my voice lacked conviction. Marcellus glanced at me, flicking ash into the wastebasket by the bed. You held me close and asked me how I could possibly cheat on you. Then you demanded to know if they were prettier than you. And then, a smirk tugged at his lips. Then you told me how incredibly handsome I was and proceeded to pin me down. God help me. I stared at the bite mark on his shoulder, my mind spiraling into a panic about how I was going to explain this to his mother, Celeste. She treated me like a sister, and I'd just gone and ruined her son. The weight of it was too much. I felt a surge of panic and self-loathing. I ran my hands through my hair, gripping the strands tightly as I paced the room, my jaw clenched in silent agitation. I couldn't face the music. So, while Marcellus was in the bathroom with nothing but a towel wrapped around his waist, I scrambled into my clothes and bolted. It wasn't until I was outside that I realized, wait, this is my house. Where am I running to? I didn't care. It was the weekend, so I spent the entire day at the public library. I held a book open from dawn till dusk, but I didn't turn a single page. By the time the sky turned a bruised purple, I finally caved and hailed a cab home. I unlocked the door with trembling hands. The apartment was pitch black. I exhaled, scanning the entryway. No sign of his shoes. I slipped inside and checked every room. Empty. The place was spotless. Even the pots in the kitchen were filled with freshly cooked food, a simple roast chicken and vegetables. The meal was still warm, and the aroma was incredible. This godson I'd pinned down the night before had turned into some kind of domestic saint. Not only did he not demand an explanation, but he'd also cleaned my entire apartment. The windows were sparkling, the sheets were fresh, and he'd even scrubbed the bathroom. Seeing how domestic he'd been, I felt even worse. My stomach turned with a sickening mix of guilt and embarrassment. With his looks, his career, and his hidden talent for housekeeping, a rare gem like him deserved better than to be ravaged by a woman at my age, only for me to ghost him afterward. I felt like absolute trash, but I was too much of a coward. I stared at Marcellus's profile on WhatsApp, my thumbs hovering over the screen, and in the end I chose silence.